Hello, internet, YouTube's peoples. What's up? Thanks for coming over. I was getting a little bored. Glad you came by. What's this? Ooh, let me turn that light off. What's this? Ooh, unboxing of the solo seat cowl from my Royal Enfield Continental GT650. Right now, I've got this dual touring seat on there. I'm not much of a dual seat guy. I hate taking passengers. After 30 plus years of riding, I finally came out of the closet and admit freely that I hate taking passengers. Absolutely do. So if you notice then, my other bike has a solo seat. When I build that chopper, it will have a solo seat, and this will now have a solo seat. But what's in the box, you say? Did you like that dramatic effect? I bought a solo seat for the Enfield, and it has a little seat cowl that goes on the back. However, the seat cowl does not come in this chrome finish like my tank does. So after making a few phone calls, I was told about a place in Texas that does a spray-on chrome for plastic. They basically spray silver nitrate on it like you would for preparing a mirror, and then a high gloss clear. So I sent it out, took about a week and got it back. Here it is. So we're gonna do an unboxing right now. We'll take a look at it, and then we may proceed to install it and do a few other things. All right, let me set you up on the tripod and we'll be right back. Are you excited? Okay, here we go. I haven't seen it yet, so we're doing this together. I'm thinking I'm not going to name the place until after I see it, because if I don't like it, I don't necessarily want to badmouth them. And then if I do like it, I'll be happy to share the information with you. The guy that I dealt with, he was nice enough, you know, kept just in touch. So I knew that he got it. He sent me some unsolicited pictures as he was spraying it, and then let me know when he shipped it back. The packaging is all mine. I sent it to him like this, and then he sent it back in the same box. Oh, I'm excited, man. Let's see what's going on here. All right. We're getting close. Can you see? Let me just double check you can see. There you are. All right. Ooh, that's his tape, and that green stuff is his. Woohoo! Ooh, this is exciting. And if this came out well, I've got some plans for him. I got plenty more stuff for him to spray for me, and he does different colors. So that's amazing. Oh man, what the heck? What the? No, that's the back side. Doesn't matter. The thing was originally black, so the underside didn't really need to be coated. You ready? I'm ready. First time. Wow! Look at that. Holy moly. That's... Can you see that? That's gorgeous. That looks just like a regular chrome finish. He did the edges. Oh, looks like that little spot was missed, but doesn't matter. You won't see that. Look at that. That's beautiful. Little bit of wrinkling under here. Right there, a little wrinkling. Doesn't matter again, that's not going to be seen. This will. I do see some spots where there's like, I don't know if you can make that out, these little bubbles or something. I'm not sure what that's all about. And I can't feel them. Can you see that? So they're underneath the, so basically the silver nitrate was sprayed on, and then 4 coats of clear. There's a little blemish right there. I'm sure this is not easy to do. Yeah, I don't really feel these. One spot I do. So because it's clear coated, I could buff out any inconsistencies. There's a little kind of a divot right there. Not sure. There, right there, you can see that. That's also underneath the clear. So it seems like there's a little bit of stuff going on underneath with the silver nitrate. All in all, I mean, I'll give it a 85, 87%. I'm okay with this. This isn't a show bike or anything, but I mean, it's super shiny, right? You can see me in the reflection. How lucky are you? But I wouldn't think that it should have that bubbling. Now, I don't know what this process consists of. Like, after he sprays on the silver nitrate, can he then buff that out or something? Or is it just, it is what it is? Anyway, what do you think, all in all? Minor blemishes. I'm kind of a perfectionist about certain things. Again, I give this like an 87, maybe a 90. I'll give it a 90%. How's that? So, the company there is called Houston Chrome. They're in Houston, Texas. I like it. It's beautiful. Definitely better than it being black. Vanna, what have we got today? There you go. So, alright, I'm gonna walk away from the camera for a while. I've got a few other things to do, and then maybe today, or it might be a little later tonight, we'll install that and do a few other things to the bike. Okay? Alright, I'm happy for the most part. Can you hear the little bit of upset in my voice? I'll be fine. It's still damn good. Alright, I'll be back. Hang in there. Alright, let's get to work. First thing I have to do is take the seat off. Then after the seat's off, I'm gonna take off the grab rail, take off the rear splash guard, take off the front splash guard, and then I'll install the new seat. So my least favorite thing to do on this bike, because even though it's kind of simple, it kind of makes me nervous. Key goes in, turn, lift, and then at an angle pull down, and it's just kind of like, I don't know how to say it, just always makes me feel like it's gonna break. Not because of the quality, just the angle you have to pull it at makes me nervous. And then, easy enough, easy peasy, you pull on that, and the seat pops off. Oh, I might have to use both hands. Hang on, I'm pulling, and I'm lifting. There we go. See that? And then you just pull out. It's actually one of the easiest seats I've ever had to remove. It's got these two clips that go under that bar right there, and then this pin that goes in that very greasy spot. That's the word, very greasy spot. Alright, seat's off. Let's get that out of the way. Let me move that. Alright, I've just made you dizzy because I'm walking around with you like that. So, what has to happen here? Grab rail. Looks like there are 2 bolts here, 2 on the other side. Easy enough. And then the splash guard, it comes off with these screws. There's one here, one on the other side, and 2 bolts underneath. These hold the rear tail light in. But then you got the wire. You see that wire there for the tail light? Some people just cut this fender right here. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to trace this wire, see where the connector is for it, and I'll just undo the connector if it's easy enough. feed it through, take the splash guard off, and then put the light back in. Alright, let me set you up on a tripod. I'll be right back. Can you see? Kind of a cool angle, huh? So these two bolts are coming out, they're 12mm. The other thing I notice is my bike is very dusty. It needs to be cleaned. I live in the high desert, so we get a lot of dust storms and just sand in the air. Sometimes I feel like I'm riding through a sandblasting cabinet, but it is what it is. I've got some music on in the background. If you can hear it, I hope you like it. But if it's too loud, you just let me know. Alright, that's coming out easy enough. I'm always curious when I remove fasteners on this bike because of the many people that say that some of the fasteners, the quality is sketchy, or the threads that it screws into. I have had that problem with one of the bolts that holds down the ABS stuff under the tank. It was chewed up just right off the factory floor. Makes you wonder what's going on. Alright, that's 2 bolts. Got loose. Alright, that's a good sign. I'm just going to go to the other side and do that from here. That one's pretty good. It's a little snug. Makes you wonder. These fenders too, by the way, the rear and the front fender, they're plastic. I think that's partially a cost savings thing for them. It does save some weight too. They don't look bad, but they are plastic. This one bolt is a little iffy. Like it's coming out, but it's tighter than you would expect. Threads wise, not how tight it is in the bike. Same thing with this one. Holy moly, I don't like it. And it's getting tighter as I loosen it. That's never a good sign. Here, you want to see? Hang on, let me bring you over here. So these 2 bolts right here, just like the other side, but man, they're almost out, or one of them is. This one, and it's still snug. And I don't think it's because it's rubbing on the frame or anything. And I don't see, there's some kind of crud on there. Can you see that? But it doesn't look like a thread locking agent to me. Now, last one. Alright. Yeah, that effer is tight. Wow, I'm gonna have to be a little careful, because as I'm taking it out, it's getting tighter, and you don't want that to snap. And when you do this, for those that don't know, you're building a lot of heat with that friction, and then that can weaken the bolt, and then it can snap. So you want to go nice and easy, not too fast. Man, this thing is, we'll take a look at it when I finally get it out. I'm going nice and easy. Holy moly. I'll have to remember that, so if I ever want to put it back in, I'm gonna need to chase those threads on the bolt and in that hole too. Man, it hasn't gotten any looser. It's coming out, but it's not loose at all. Excuse me. Wow, this is like the forever bolt too. That's the worst. Just keeps going. I also don't want this, oh, there it goes, loosening up now, finally. I definitely don't want this grab rail to fall. Almost there. I'm curious to see what this bolt looks like. Are you curious? Let's see. Alright. Grab rail is off. See? Right there. 4 mounting holes, 2 here, 2 there. There's something on here. I think it's just the paint got scratched off when the bolts were installed. Let's look at this bolt. I don't know, you can't probably see that, but these top threads here are flat. They've been flattened. So that's the same problem I had with the bolt where the ABS stuff is bolted down. I can chase this with a tap, a die, and then chase the holes in the threads in the holes with a tap. But that's that. Alright, let me go put this away. I'll be right back. Next thing I'm going to do is unbolt the splash guard. It's got a 10mm nut on the back and a Phillips head on the front. So let's just do that. I'm doing this first because when I unbolt the tail light, it looks like it's just going to hang, and I'd rather get this thing unbolted first so then I don't have to get that out of the way or what have you until I can get the tail light off. Okay, that was simple enough. Just like your regular hardware store nut and bolt. I wonder. I would love to find out who the distributor of their hardware is, since there is so much talk about the quality of it or lack thereof. A lot of this stuff you can replace little by little if you wanted to. There's some great shops out there like Fastenal, for example, or there's a place online I've used that I really liked. Oh, look at that. Haha. So when I took this one off, I saw it had a washer, and I'm looking for the washer of the other one. Can you see where it is? You see it right there? It's stuck on one of the tiny little rubber hairs poking out off the tire. That's great. I'll take that as a sign of good luck. Let me actually put those. I have this thing here too, so if I need to, I can wrap the tail light in it. I like keeping everything together when I take it off, so I don't have to search for it. So I'm just putting the washer back on the bolt with the nut. This way they're together forever. Okay, so that's loose, but now I do have to unbolt the tail light. I'll bring you over here. You can just see them peeking out right over there. It's funny, I've had this teeny tiny extension for years and I've never used it until now. I love that. I knew it would come in handy someday. And these are 8mm. Am I heading your way? Sorry. Should have said something. Those came loose very easily, which is a good sign. I'm just going to pull them off by hand. The reason I don't want to cut this plastic thing is I'm trying to save everything I take off of here. So someday in the future, down the line, 10, 15, 20 years from now, I'd love to still have all the original parts for this bike. It's kind of like, I deal with classic bikes, mostly Japanese bikes my whole life. And you buy them from someone and the parts are missing and you don't know where they've ended up, and then you end up spending tons of money trying to find them, and that's part of the fun, but at the same time, you know, I'd love to hold on to every little thing I get. So by the way, I took those bolts out and they just hold the splash guard actually. They don't hold the tail light down. Sorry, I bumped you. Slam dancing. Alright, so that's that. So next, I really do have to get this little thing out. I'm gonna pause this for a moment. Alright, next thing I'm gonna do, before I was gonna loosen these. Oh, these are Torx head, by the way. Just enough so I can feed this wire through, because the way it's set up right now, there's barely any gap between this and the frame under here for that head to pass through. So I don't need to take them out all the way, I just need to loosen them. I was gonna do that first, then remove this, but I need this to be a little stiff before I push those out. Or before I push that out. I'm gonna try pulling on it a little. It's in there though, and I don't want to break the I don't want to break this, I don't want to ruin this, and I don't want to break the plastic fender. So this might take a little. Now I might get this out and then realize, whoopa, see, that's not what I wanted to do at all. Oh, and guess what? Although the taillight's not coming out, those two bolts I thought were just holding the mud flap on are also holding the rear of the fender on. So just found that out. Hey. And that's how it is. Like I've mentioned before, I've never worked on a bike like this before. So some of it is just figure it out as I go. Hey, you know what? Hang on, kids. Right now, I'm looking in there, right there, and there are a couple of connectors there. Let's see if I can show you. Hey, let me take you mobile. Hang on. Mobile. We're mobile, kids. There's a couple of connectors right there. I could probably just unclip those and not have to take all of that out. Huh, I think I may do that. Let's see, let me put you back on the tripod and set you up. Maybe I'll bring it down a little bit. Going down. There you go. That may be a much better and easier way to do it. I see 3 connectors. Take a look here. In that case, all right. I am going to loosen these, maybe even take them all the way out. That should allow me to drop this enough to get access there. So let's do that. It's not that size. Oh, nice. So these are called Torx screws. I don't know if you'll be able to pick up the way the screw head looks itself. Let me show you. It's kind of star shaped. Maybe not. Maybe right there. Can you see that? Hang on. Focus, baby. Focus, yo. Focus, yo. No, maybe. But I can show you that. That's a Torx head driver. It's kind of got a star shape to it. They come in, that's a T20, T for Torx, 20 for the size. I've got T25s, etc. So allow me to unscrew that. And that doesn't have a nut on the other side, it just comes out. That came out nice and easy. That's good. So I'm not having the dreaded screw problem. That's good. I don't know, can you pick that up? So these are cast plastic threaded holes. They kind of feed into these rubber grommets up here. Alright, so I have some wiggle room now. I could pull this out just for the sake of making room. And now I have a ton of room in there to disconnect those. They're just connectors that have a matching female and male end. Should be easy enough. Famous last words. Just unplug. Let me see. Yeah. They're all a little different, so there's no fear of plugging the wrong one in. So there's one right there. I don't want to scratch or drop my fender. Number two, I see. Okay, I need something to push on it. Here, let me show you. Right in here, it looks like this black one and this white one with the two wires. You have to push right in there. I'm going to use the tip of a screwdriver to release it. No? Yet? 9? Alright, it took a little figuring out, but I had success. Basically, the male end has this little tab on it, and the female end has this little slot for the tab that locks just behind this nub. I had to stick a screwdriver in there in the female to male end like this, turn it so the blade was perpendicular, which pushed this nub up just enough so I could pull out the male end. Okay, that was a pain. Let me back you out. And let's keep disassembling. Now that I know how to do it, it's not a big deal, but man oh man. So let's pull these wires through carefully. We'll go one by one so that there's room. There's one, there's two, there's three. Now the fender is free. Now I take that out. Voila! Simplemente. Right? I guess, sorta. I could have just cut it right there, but I didn't want to. Alright. So, let's take a look at this real quick. That's kind of held in there. Popped in place. I want to wipe this down just a little. Just some, I have water with a drop of dishwashing liquid in it and a microfiber towel. A lot of times too, I'll just spray it on the rag. I won't necessarily spray it on the part. I just want to clean up some of that. That's kind of discolored. Interesting. I thought it was New Mexico dust, but it ain't. All right. So now it should be easy enough. Haha, famous last words. I'll push these connectors back through. One at a time. That just gives them room. You can't shove them all in at the same time. They just won't fit. Those two are easy enough. This last one's a little tricky because it's wider and it's got a couple of ears on it. But it came out, it'll go in. There we go. Simple enough. Pull that through. Alright. Now what I'm going to do is actually, it's a part, I want to wipe some of the dirt and grime off of here while it's apart. I'm not going to use the microfiber towel for that because this is frame. I'm not too worried about it scratching. Not that I want it to scratch, I just mean it's not going to scratch it. Okay, I'm just using some water that has literally 1 drop of dishwashing or dishwashing detergent in it. I'd love to cap off the threaded holes here that the grab bar was on, just so stuff doesn't get in there. Maybe down the road I'll put something in there. All right. So first thing I'm going to do is reconnect these. Should be as simple as sliding them in. And actually, I've talked about dielectric grease before. Let me go get some. So what I've got here is dielectric grease. I also call it tune-up grease. Basically, you put it on electrical connections, mostly to inhibit corrosion. Moisture getting in there, corroding the ends. I'm going to use a little brush today. I've never done it this way, but in those connectors, it's so tight, it might be the only way. So I'm just going to, this stuff kind of has the consistency of Vaseline. You don't want to overdo it, but you don't want to underdo it. What does that even mean? And I'm just putting it, I'm going to put it on the spade terminal ends. It'll just keep it down the road, no pun intended, from corroding or anything like that. I'm going to do it to all of the male connectors. Just put a decent amount. You don't need to overdo it. Won't hurt it, but at the same time, it could also trap dirt and stuff if it's too much excess. It looks like this one maybe had a little bit on there. Just a preventative measure. Alright, that was simple enough, right? So let me plug these back in. Careful, you always want to make sure that the male ends, I don't know if you can see in there, but there's a couple of prongs. Let's see. There's a band called Prong that I really like. So you see these 2 prongs in there? Can you just kind of make those out? You want them to be even. You don't want them to be like this or like that when you reconnect it. So always, pay attention to that stuff. You want to make sure it all fits together well and properly. You don't want to tweak it. and they snap together very positively. This third one here. All right, that's good. Next, I'm going to reattach this side. When I said this side, I was pointing to the front. Right here, those 2 Torx screws. I'll loosely put those in place. Now these rubber grommets, they look like they slide back and forth. So that must give you a little bit of play in either direction. Just in case it's not perfectly lined up. So I'll just get them started this way. And I got to make sure the front end of this connector is back in place where it needs to be. So that I can reconnect it, because I don't want to bolt it all together and not have that connector where it needs to be, right? That would kind of suck, right? So, alright, that's pretty much in place. It did slide forward or back a little, I'm not sure. That's why I'm just going to carefully just get those started. And remember, that's a plastic fitting with a steel bolt in it, so you don't want to cross thread it. You don't want to over tighten it. I just want it to kind of sit in place right now. Speaking of cross threading, that almost did. See what I'm talking about, yo? Alright. That's in place. Now, I need to tuck the wires from the tail light back in where they came from. Sorry, not sure why the camera shut off. So I'm gonna tuck these wires back into place. Not quite sure how they were tucked, but there is room back there. And then also this rubber grommet needs to sit exactly in place. I think I'm okay with that. There are no wires pinched. There are no wires showing. This one connector is a little iffy. That's better. So the looks like the rubber grommet's in place. All right. So now I'm going to take the 8mm bolts with the washers, screw them back in. I want to tighten it up with my fingers at least so that the back of the fender doesn't fall off. And we'll put the second one in, if I can find it. Where'd you go? There you are. I could put a little Loctite on this, but I'm not gonna. Making sure again that the rubber grommet or rubber, I don't know, mount is seated properly. No wires are pinched. Pinchy wires. We don't like those. Tighten that up. Alright. That's one. Alright, those are snug. And now I can go back to the front Torx ones. Make sure I have play in this wire. Let me re-clip it underneath before I do anything else, so I don't forget. Okay. That's in place. This one needs a little help. I don't like it. And I don't want it to pop out because there's always a chance it's going to rub on the tire and cut it, right? Alright, that looks like it's in place. It's definitely in place. This is still in place. We never removed that. Let me reconnect this. Guess what I'm going to do? Before I do, dielectric grease. Who said dielectric grease? Anyone? Class? Bueller. 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 You thought I was going to stop, right? Alright. Coated. This just snaps in place. Again, you want to make sure that the blades, the male parts are sticking out properly. Can you see me? If you can't see me, you got to raise your hand, right? That's in place, snap together, tuck that in. Now, I'm just pushing up on the underside of the fender because the back is attached now, but the front has a little room. So I'm pushing it so it'll kind of find its location. And then I'll snug these down. They don't have to be over tight though. Like I said, it's a steel bolt and a plastic fitting on the fender. You don't want it loose, but you don't need to tighten the heck out of it. Okay, that's on. Wow, interesting. How interesting. It looks sportier already. Let me back you up. Take a look. What do you think? Better, huh? All right. So that's that part of it. Oh no, one more thing. I'm gonna actually, the bolts that were in the fender here on both sides that were holding that mud flap in, I'm just gonna reattach them. There's no need to, but I think it'll look better than just having the holes there. I think if I replace them, at least it'll have a little look of, I don't know, industrial motorcycle-ness. So we got 10mm Phillips. We had those washers, if you remember, right? So let me do this side first since I'm here. And these have a nylock washer on them. But again, it's more for looks than anything. I think it'll look more finished. I'm being careful. These Phillips heads are kind of cut in an odd way where they keep slipping off of my screwdriver. I don't want to chew them up. Oh, a little bit of too much tension. I can see it pulling in on the plastic. I'm going to back it off just a hair. Damn this screw, man. There we go. That one's okay. This one's okay. Yeah, as I screwed that in, it dimpled it a little, and I could see it was putting undue pressure on there, and that could cause a crack down the road. But now it's snug enough that it'll stay there, but it won't crack the plastic. So that's that. You know what I want to do next? Should have done it before I tightened everything up, but let's make sure the lights still work. Hey, don't steal my license plate. Sheesh. Let's see what we got. Tail light is on, that's a good sign. Front brake light, rear brake light, left turn signal, right turn signal. All right, we're in business. Nice, I'm happy about that. Let's move on to the front fender, which actually, I'll film it, but I think, I don't want to speak too soon, but this one should just be straightforward. 3 Phillips head screws with a nut underneath. I remove them and we're good. Here, let me reposition you. There you go. Let's see what I got under here. I'll get a wrench under there. By the way, if you happen to see my feet in the video, yeah, I'm wearing flip-flops. They're my garage flip-flops. What's up with that? If you don't like it, you can cash me outside. Alright. Let's see. Yeah, it's an 8. Look at that. My eyeballs did not deceive. Oops. God dash nabbit. Don't you hate that? Might be a little, maybe not. I was gonna say it might be a little tricky to get it back on, but there's enough flex, given that it is a plastic fender. Alright, that's one. Ooh, that one had a washer and a star washer on it. Look at that. Look at it. Star washer. Flat washer, star washer, nut. I guess these come off when you don't want them to. Ooh, there's some greasy, oily substance on my fender. What could that be? I'll have to investigate. On that. Alright, so that's off. Ooh, that's full of oil. What is that? There's no smell to it, but I don't like it. I'm gonna have to look around a little bit. I'm gonna do that, and I'll let you know if I find anything, and I will also not bother showing you screwing those back in. Okay kids, we're at the last part. So here is my new solo seat. Genuine Royal Enfield product. It says touring on the label. That's because this is the touring style of seat, meaning the internally, let's see if you can pick this up in the camera. See that white in the holes there? That's a type of mesh that I don't know if they use the same foam as the non-touring seats, but that mesh is supposed to stiffen it up, make it a bit stiffer. It is definitely better for longer rides. I travel 30 miles each way to work and then 30 miles back. With the non-touring seat that I had on there, after about 15 miles, it started hurting. It was too soft. Now with the touring seat, I can do the 30 miles. I could probably do 50 before it starts to hurt. Now, because it's still not super stiff. Now, the solo seat I don't think comes, you don't have a choice. It just comes in the touring style. But that's better. That's good. I didn't know that when I bought it. So I put gloves on because I had grease and oil on my hands. So there's that. Alright, we've got the beautiful cowl from earlier. And then finally, there's 3 torque screws, T20s, that come in the package. And the teeniest, tiniest instructions you can ever imagine. The writing is so small. Oh, battery's gonna die. Let me put a fresh one in. I read it through them already. Basically, flip that upside down. That's just covering the prong that locks on the back. Now this says to turn that cowl upside down, so I'm gonna put that there. And the cowl, there's 3 mountings holes. 1, 2, and 3. And the cowl has 3 mounting tabs. This is plastic, so I don't want to over tighten it. The tabs are oblong on the 2 ends there, so it'll give me a little leeway to get it to fit properly. So, turning that upside down. Carefully getting things to line up. That center one is a little tight, but I want to get that one started first. I noticed too that the seat here, I don't know if you can see, there we go. It's got these 2 protrusions that kind of press up against the back of the cowl, so it gives it some purchase, a little stability. Alright, let me start that 1 screw. It's not lining up that great. And that center one does not have slotted tabs. So it's going to be a little tricky. I got to push on it and get it in there at the same time. Even doing that is not helping. I just see the seat's just not, they can't make a seat like always in the same perfect, you know. Let's get you over here. Can you see what I'm doing? Here you go. I think this may be my best bet. Even that is not great, but I might be able to get it started. No. No. Damn, I don't want to push on that too hard. There we go. Maybe that'll do it. A little help. Nope. All right. You gotta be careful though. I don't want to break it. I'm backing you up so you can have a fuller view of what I'm doing. I don't want to put too much tension on that. That would suck, right? Well, I think it got started. Get this party started. Okay, it started. Now I'll start these other two. Oops. Can you see? Yeah. I'm not going to tighten them all the way because then I want to flip the seat over and make sure everything's kind of looks okay, sitting properly. Definitely tricky. And again, you don't want to ruin the finish of the cowl. You don't want to crack it. You don't want to any other bad thing. So it's on there almost all the way. What do you think? Looks kind of cool. Got that little ridge right there. That's all right. Let me snug that down. I'm going to snug the center one down first because that's the one that won't go anywhere. I'm not going to over tighten it, but I do want it snug. Okay. Looks good. What I'm looking for here, I want this line and this line to, I don't want this to be lower. So they look just about even. Same thing there. And they're not tight yet, so I think now that this is tight and in place, the sides are pretty much where they're going to be. I could push them in a little, but it basically lets it go forward and back, not side to side. So I think it's where it's going to be. How's it going to be? I was just listening to Third Eye Blind. I like them. Okay, those are on. That appears to be on. The center one is still, I thought it was tight and it wasn't. All right. Again, these planes are even. They look even. Let me bring you over to the bike and then we'll fit it to the bike. All right, here's the final test. So these two prongs go under here and then that gets pushed into there. Pretty easy, but it can be a little tricky. One day my other seat I put it on, and as I'm riding to work I'm wondering why my seat wobbling around, and it was because it hadn't hooked on properly. So yeah, it's still, there we go. No, not yet. There we go. Pretty easy. What do you think? Yeah. Let me give you a better angle. It's kind of a crappy angle. Here we go. That's it. I like it. That's always a little weird right there. But that's how they designed it. That's how Royal Enfield designed it. They don't design... they have a cowl for the dual seat. But it's not... You see how this one kind of has some height to it? Because the back of the rider's seat comes up. Well, if you remember, the touring seat's kind of flat. So the cowl for the dual seat, to me, just looks like a flat pancake. I just don't like the profile of it. So I decided to go with this and kind of get used to that. I don't mind it, actually. And eventually, I'll be putting smaller taillight and turn signals on the rear and on the front. So that might make it look even cooler. I think it's kind of neat. I've also been wondering about putting black rear fender and a black front fender. It would kind of play off of the other black accents and the black stripe on the tank. But I like it. Let's do a quick walk around. I've only seen one or two other people online with a chrome tail. One guy has an aluminum one he polished, and the other guy was going to get it wrapped. But if you get chrome wrap, it only lasts maybe 2 or 3 years, I've been told, from the chrome wrapping guys. Then you have to redo it, and this cost me 150 bucks plus shipping both ways, but nonetheless it was worth it, because it'll be like that forever. It's the silver nitride coating, then 4 coats of gloss clear. So now I can treat that like a you would your car, for example. You can wash it, wax it, buff it out. Well, I'm happy with it. I like it. I like it a lot. Makes the bike look more like a rocket or a bullet. I just have to put that side cover on, but you don't need to hang out for that. I'm going to rinse it off a little bit because it's very dusty. But yeah, folks, what do you think? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. I like it. I am thinking about putting some racing numbers on there or something. We'll see. I think that looks pretty damn sharp. Well, on that note, rock on, peoples. Please subscribe and like if you're so inclined. Feel free to leave comments. Let me know what you think. And I will talk to you soon. Alright, on that note, take care. Bye-bye.